This is the lunchtime portion of our program. The morning has been absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank all of our presenters and our staff and food service and everybody who put their shoulders to the plow to make this work out. It's been tremendous. I hope you got an opportunity to go by the main arena. The young people were there. It was 181 of them involved in a learning lab opportunity. They're going to come away from that experience having been introduced to some new possibilities and some new ways of exercising their entrepreneurial spirit. So we're thankful for being able to make that deposit into them for their futures. So this segment of the program is an extension of the morning. Our young entrepreneurs are preparing to load their buses and to make their ways back to the school. They have a 360 photo lab up on the photo studio up on the concourse. So I'm sure they're enjoying their lunch and they're preparing to transition back to their prospective high schools. This morning you heard me mention an experience with an organization that has been part of the Excel research project, Excellence in Entrepreneurial Learning, that's made possible by the Annie E. Casey Foundation. That has been a year-long research process. We will release the report July 1 of this year. We're pulling it all together now. It has a lot of unique aspects to that particular study. Not only are we doing a landscape analysis of entrepreneurship training in Baltimore City for youth and emerging adults. So from 16 to 29, what's available to that age group to prepare them for entrepreneurial success. I mentioned the Casey study of 2017, where the young people told us that they want three things. They want entrepreneurship, they want it to be equitable, and they want to be able to give back to their communities. If we don't provide them good learning experiences, then we're setting them up for further frustration. We do not want to do that. So this study should provide valuable information about what's actually happening in the ecosystem in terms of entrepreneurial learning. We're going to build on that because learning and learning competencies, being able to learn, whether it's entrepreneurship or anything else, that's how you progress. One particular organization that has been involved with us in the research process is the Heart Smiles organization run by Joni Hollifield, and they are developing a national reputation for what they are able to do. We did have one panel this morning where one of the Heartbeats, as they are known, were part of the panel. If you were there, you heard him and how impressive he is in terms of his understanding of entrepreneurship, but also just in how he presents himself and how he shows up. 5 of them have worked with us on this project. One of them is a social work major from Coppin. We have others that are at Morgan, and they're known as the 5 Heartbeats, not the movie, but the Heartbeats of the Heart Smiles organization. We were with them in Honolulu last week at the IVET conference. They showed up in a major way. So 2 of them, Ms. Gemma Chester and Mr. Lamar Hill, are going to lead us through the remainder of this program, and I'm going to ask them to come forward now, and they will lead us through our lunchtime segment. At the end of that segment, we will go into our final closing panel. You don't want to miss that either, because there will be not only representation from the community, and you'll get to know them all, from the community, young entrepreneurs, economic development is going to be moderated by Dr. Vanya Pettigrew, who is the CEO and founder of Root Branch Media. She's known as the media mogul in Baltimore. She purchased a building down on Boston Street, right on the waterfront. It's a fabulous facility. I got a chance to tour it about a week ago, but she's going to be our moderator in this afternoon. So won't you put your hands together for Lamar Hill and Gemma Chester as they come.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, I'm Gemma Chester.
My name is Lamar Hill, and it is our pleasure to lead y'all through this portion of our agenda. But before we introduce the leadership of Coppin State University, we have a few of our fantastic guests who we are going to greet today. Please allow us to tell you a little about ourselves.
Okay, so I'm Gemma Chester. I'm currently a student at Morgan State University. I'm a social work major. I'm also a Heart Smiles Heartbeat, of course. I've been with Heart Smiles for about 4 years now. And Heart Smiles is an organization here in Baltimore City where we help young people reach their version of success through a peer-to-peer model. So I'm also a mentor and project coordinator on various projects that we have at Heart Smiles. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm an artist, so I specialize in portrait paintings, acrylic paintings, murals, pretty much anything creative nowadays. And my business is called Slim's Art Creations, and I've had it for about 3 years now. And through Heart Smiles, I was actually funded from them $5,000 to start my own art program. And I was able to have my first cohort. They had their own collaborative art show with the fellows that I had a part of that art program. And it was wonderful. They got to sell their artwork, learn about entrepreneurship, but also create art in the process.
I'm gonna give a little introduction on myself. My name is Lamar Hill. I'm a program director at Heart Smiles, as well as a Heartbeat. I've been on copious projects like Healing Youth Alliance, Squeeze to Success, and other different projects and stuff like that. I'm also a part of a youth action board, which is dedicated towards representing and advocating for homeless youth around and across Baltimore City. But that's a little bit about me. I'm also an entrepreneur too, so I actually have my own business called The 5-Star Way, where we actually focus on, culinary foods and other things of that nature. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm actually going to pass it back to Gemma. Just going to carry on.
So because of the importance of this topic and because of the leaders and who they are and how much they care about these topics, this afternoon we are fortunate to have with us Dr. Anthony L. Jenkins, the president of Coppin State University, Dr. Pamela Wilkes, provost and vice president of academic affairs, and Dr. Sadie Gregory, dean of the College of Business. So if y'all could come up here, they're going to greet us, and then they will return to introduce a few of our special guests who are also going to greet us. So please give them a round of applause.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Let's give them another round of applause. I'm always impressed, and I talk a lot about leadership and training. And this is leadership and training. It's not always easy to get up and talk to a lot of people and so forth, and you all did a great job. So thank you very much. As noted, I'm Anthony Jenkins, and I have the distinct honor of being president of Coppin State University. And some of you have had the opportunity to hear me earlier this morning, so I won't be before you long. I would like to acknowledge and just highlight two individuals. Mr. Paul Kepper, who was with us. He's the regional president of Junior Achievements. Paul, are you here? Here you are right here. Let's give Paul a round of applause. And we also have with us Donald Smith, who of MBDA and is the acting COO. So Donald, please stand. We give you a round of applause. As I said earlier, I could not think of a better place for such a profound conference to take place than Baltimore's most dynamic HBCU, Coppin State University. And for those who are new to our campus, welcome. to our beautiful campus. And for those who have been here before, welcome back. Again, today was about blending entrepreneurship, inclusion, and education. Because those things are all, as I said earlier, inextricably linked. And I hope that the thought leaders and the panels that you've listened to and heard from today and that you've engaged in further fuel your energy and your desire to make sure you keep moving towards your goal. The young man who presented himself today earlier, he said he was 10 years old. And I was so impressed with his story and what he's trying to do from an entrepreneurship standpoint. We had a great conversation. And I share this with all of our entrepreneurs, whether you are young in age or still young at heart. This thing is not easy. And you will encounter a bunch of naysayers and cynical people, a lot of no's, people who don't see your vision and where you're going. And I would tell you, don't waste a lot of your energy on those folks. Simply keep moving towards your destiny. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to accomplish. You understand it's not going to always be easy. But never, ever stop believing in you and what you're trying to accomplish. See, that's a driving factor, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're a student athlete or whether you have some other leading role. It's always about tenacity, determination, and commitment. Those things are the difference makers. And so with this conference, my hope is that you take some of that away with you, but that you also leave here reinforced with confidence in the self-efficacy and a more solid vision that there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. And so I just wanted to, again, welcome those who are new to the campus and who I did not get an opportunity to see this morning. And for everyone else, again, I want you to have a wonderful rest of the conference. Tap each other, lean into each other. What you do is important. This entrepreneurship is important. The inclusion component is important. We all benefit from it. So my hat is off to you. I cannot thank you enough for what you are doing, all the great work, the great collaboration. And for Dr. Williams, once again, I want to thank you and commend you for your vision and your leadership on bringing this conference to fruition. Because we wouldn't be here without you. This is leadership and it's about achievement. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So thank you all very much. And now I have the distinct honor of turning the podium over to our university provost, Dr. Pamela Wilkes. And Dr. Wilkes, who oversees academic affairs, which the College of Business, led by Dean Sadie Gregory, they make up a very powerful aspect of the university experience and the learning that takes place here at Coppin State University. So, if you would, please help me welcome to the podium Dr. Pamela Wilkes, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and good afternoon to you and to the members of the executive team that are here, our faculty, staff, students, special invited guests, and participants. It is indeed an honor to bring greetings to you this year at the Economic Inclusion Conference, which is taking place at a critically important juncture, socially, economically, politically, and historically. And as you've heard throughout the conference, Coppin is making a difference throughout community outreach and social change agency. However, our impact is so much more greater. In case you were not aware, Coppin State University has an annual economic impact of over $200 million for local and regional economies. Our students, 70% of them who graduate choose to remain in the state of Maryland, and 48% of those students choose to remain, live, and work here in Baltimore City. Thus, it is imperative that we not only provide curriculum that will prepare our students to be tomorrow's leaders and change makers, but also ways to create impact, delivering on their passions through understanding how to brand, market, collaborate, and deliver on those things that they want to impact the community. Similarly, as HBCUs, we have a history of entrepreneurship. It is the essence of who we are and how we operate as we think about the business of academics and the ways entrepreneurship is a critical element in understanding the business modeling, leadership, and operational management for people of color, and in particular women in communities of color. We are not only making spaces physically in terms of our maker spaces, but we are also making space for individuals to be the change agents that they choose to be, whether in a for-profit or nonprofit sector. Therefore, at this time, I would like to thank Dr. Williams for the facilitation of this conference, Dean Sadie Gregory for your leadership in the College of Business, and to all of you for your attendance and your support in this year's conference. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. This afternoon, I have my youngest son with me, Joshua. Today, if you don't know, is National Take Your Child to Work Day. And so he used today as a field trip option to be able to go. He made sure I remembered this morning, Mama, you're gonna take me to work, I'm not going to school. But that is important because my son gets to see me and what I do for a living and the change that we get to make as an institution. And so I want to leave you with an understanding that the work that you do, the change that you make, the opportunities that you not only give to service someone through your products or your services, but also the opportunities that you provide through your leadership and your entrepreneurial spirit will give someone an opportunity that can look up to you, see what it is that you do, and that you in turn can make that level of impact to lead someone else into their understanding of their passion and how to make it work. The work you do is important. And I want to challenge you to take someone under your wing because they are looking at you, that you be the decision maker that will ripple into someone else's beginning, belonging, and becoming. And that we hope that you will take an opportunity to actually work with Coppin State University and help us help you to be that change that the world needs you to be. Thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dean Sadie Gregory, Dean of the College of Business here at the great Coppin State University.
Good afternoon, and I thank you for joining us here today for the Economic Inclusion Conference at Coppin 2024. I'd like to just take a minute to share a little bit of information about the College of Business. Within our college, we have 3 pillars that support teaching and learning and that serve our community. We have our Charles Schwab Foundation Community Wealth Center, and in that center we address and promote financial education, and we are addressing the wealth gap, the closure of the wealth gap. A second pillar that we have is our Partners in Education office. In that office, within our College of Business, we work closely with our K-12 and our community college partners. And then, of course, the third center that serves the campus and the community is our Center for Strategic Entrepreneurship. Today, you're having an opportunity to see all 3 of these pillars in action and the synergy that exists between them. Under the leadership of Dr. Ron Williams and the Center for Strategic Entrepreneurship, we are bringing our business and community partners together as we develop pathways to economic empowerment. With a research-based approach to building our community, we are impacting the wealth gap by strengthening our business community. And of course, we are forward-thinking. We are preparing pathways for youth entrepreneurs, our future. So today, you see at this conference, We are supporting Coppin's mission, that mission of serving the community, building partnerships, and most importantly, educating future leaders for our community and beyond. I know that you enjoyed the morning session, the luncheon, and let's look forward to the afternoon session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins, Professor Gregory, and Dean Gregory. Please give them another round of applause. Dr. Williams recently posted on LinkedIn that a collaboration is the lifeblood of social innovation. So we are tremendously proud to introduce a few external stakeholders who are important to the advancement of entrepreneurs and businesses, not only on the local level, but on the national level. Let me tell you a little bit about these gentlemen, and they may come up to greet us in order to introduce themselves. So firstly, we have Dr. Donald Smith. Mr. Smith serves as the acting Chief Operating Officer at the Minority Business Development Agency, the only agency solely dedicated to the growth and global comprehensiveness of minority business enterprises. He has over 25 years of experience in strategic planning, budget management, policy development, and implementing workforce, entrepreneurship, and family stability, economic development programs for government and non-profit organizations. He is a proud HBCU graduate with a Master's of City and Regional Planning degrees from Morgan State University, where he served as a faculty in the School of Architecture and Planning. And he holds a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice from the University of Maryland Shore. So feel free to come up.
All that bio to say how I introduce myself is I'm just a poor boy from West Baltimore. I grew up not too far from Coppin State University on the corner of Bentlow and Lafayette. Every day I saw hopes and dreams fail, and some of us were able to be successful. I'm not lost on the fact that I'm standing here in front of you because of a 1995 graduate of Coppin State University, my mom. My mother delayed her college education so that I could complete my own. There's stories just like that across our city, and that's the reason why I'm so happy to be with you today, because I will let you know there are good things that come out of Baltimore City. More importantly, as the Acting Chief Operating Officer for the Minority Business Development Agency, which is the sole federal agency responsible for the development and sustainability of your businesses, because as I look out in the crowd, there are black and brown faces who are making our economy thrive. Each day, we provide more than $37 million in grants, boots on the ground to ensure that you have the resources you need to be successful. In moving forward that success, we help businesses grow in cities like Baltimore and small towns in South Carolina and Mississippi. But there's something that you can do which matters more than any grant I could ever give. When you decide to shop at a minority-owned business. Share information on minority-owned businesses with your friends and family. Build a relationship with the business. Write and share a review, a positive Google review. Give them 5 stars. And you'll be surprised when you get that alert that says it's been viewed 50,000 times. Ultimately, we also need you to be advocates. Advocates for the economic inclusion that will help communities like the one I grew up in West Baltimore be successful. I would encourage each of you to visit mbda.gov, learn about our equities, including our $125 million capital readiness program which uses funds from the State Small Business Credit Initiative to make sure that small businesses, in fact, businesses of any size, have the capital they need to grow and the technical assistance they need to be successful. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Dr. Williams and my great friend Dr. Johnny Rice and Mr. Melvin Howard. And I look and I see a whole table of my other friends who I don't think they knew I was going to be here today, but I thank them nonetheless for giving their support. And thank you so much, Coppin, for being a gem, not just in West Baltimore, but for the state of Maryland. Thank you.
I just want to give Mr. Smith another round of applause for his speech. Say thank you again for coming up. All right, so following Mr. Smith, we will be having Mr. Paul Capel, President of CEO of Junior Achievement of Central Maryland. I'm gonna give y'all a little info on his background. So Mr. Capel has been involved in education for over 30 years. Paul initially joined Junior Achievement with Georgia office in 1997 and transitioned to the Greater Washington office in 2003. Paul started as the president in Philadelphia in 2007. During his tenure in southeastern Pennsylvania, he received multiple awards, including the Peak Performance Team Award, the highest honor given to an area office by the USA. In 2002, Paul accepted the position of the president and CEO with Junior position of Central Maryland. Mr. Paul holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Bloomberg University and a Master of Science in Human Resources from the University of Scatron. Wild Kids Acre is a minority-owned, veteran-owned farm founded by Mr. Gertrude Martinez. The 5-acre Anne Arundel County farm property was purchased in 2019 to serve as a model for other young families looking to find alternative ways to redevelop properties. Wild Kid Acre has 3 main goals: to inspire the community, enhance the local economic development, and enrich the local ecosystem with climate-smart architectural practices. The farm not only is an educational venue, but also a refuge for animal therapy clients, both young and old. It has provided a way for inner-city minority teens to witness a farmer who looks like them and is from the same background and cares about animals. Okay. All right, so we can now have Mr. Ball come to the stage. So everybody give him a round of applause.
So it's always fun when you hear your own bio read off the internet, and the thing you keep thinking is, I need to make that shorter. Again, I'm Paul Capel, and I'm president of Junior Achievement of Central Maryland. And usually I'm on the other side of the event planning, like Dr. Williams. So I know how important the clock is. So I'm going to kind of get the highlights of the remarks I was going to make today. First and most important, I want to thank Dr. Jenkins, Dr. Wilkes, Dr. Gregley, and of course my hopefully new friend, Dr. Williams. We had a chance to meet Junior Achievement. We have an entrepreneurship competition every year. Some of the members of my team who run that are actually here today. And that's where we first met. And one of the things that I learned early in my career with Junior Achievement from actually one of the founders co-founders of Home Depot is the secret to success is to surround yourself with people smarter than you are. And the coffee I had with Dr. Williams, and then what I've heard today, boy, do I feel successful in terms of the opportunity that lays before us in trying to bring more economic inclusion opportunities to not just young people of Baltimore, but all of Baltimore. And here today, we're not just participants, we're not just listeners, we're not just taking notes and maybe making contacts, but we are the architects of what that change will be. And hopefully everyone here is just as inspired as I am to go out and make that happen every single day. I think about one of the themes of this conference is empowerment. And what does empowerment mean? Empowerment means choice. The ability to have choice with what you do. Your future, your family, your career, your income, what you do, you always want that choice. And that brings me a little bit of what Junior Achievement of Central Maryland does. And I'm here to represent today the 30,000 young people and over 4,000 volunteers that participate in our programs. We have 3 pillars: economic education, work readiness, and most importantly today, entrepreneurship. But at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is give young people the skill sets and the mindsets that transform their communities. We know this stuff works. We know a young person that participates in a junior achievement program is more likely to start a business. We know that they're more likely to have a positive view of the impact that businesses have on our community. We know that they are more likely to pay off potential loans quicker. We know that they are more likely to be financially independent at a sooner age than the average American. Now, the takeaway there is not about what junior achievement does. The takeaway there is we know that economic education works. We know that mentoring works. We know that intentionality and purpose in entrepreneurship education works. We also know that of those 30,000 students that participate in junior achievement, that's about 5% of the K-12 population in Central Maryland. As Dr. Wilkins said, it's hard work, there's a lot of work, but we know that we can do it. Obviously, Dr. Williams and I have both read that Casey study that highlighted those 3 primary components of what young people want in entrepreneurship, and this is how I'll close. Because I also think it applies to all of us in this room. Number 1 was entrepreneurship. And for entrepreneurship to grow, we have to continue to provide trusted content, experiential learning, and opportunities for young people to thrive around entrepreneurship. We need to provide experiential programs. That includes in-classroom opportunities, out-of-school opportunities, and community opportunities. I just learned of a new community opportunity today with Dion Bowen at Epic Art Universe. And then that leads me to my second piece in terms of equity. And for these programs to work and these opportunities to work, you have to have equity in access, and you have to have equity in outcomes, but there also needs to be collaboration in those opportunities. None of us can do that alone, and I think that's a theme that we've heard from the conference today. And lastly, it's the importance of conferences like this. It's that bringing the network together. We've all heard about that ecosystem. It's the power of collaboration, and we all know to get a lot, we have to be willing to give a lot as well. The last piece that I'll say is, oftentimes I'm asked by high school students, what is the one key to success that I think as a leader in this community? And to me, it's very simple. It's show up. The first key to success is showing up, and I want to thank each of you for showing up today, and I look forward, and I know the rest of the Coppin State team does as well, to continuing this dialogue as we move forward. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to make a remark before Gerardo comes and gives his greetings. We have declared each other to be our new best friends. Gerardo for Wild Kid Acres, and because we're neighbors too. I live in Anne Arundel County, and his 5-acre farm is not too far from my home. So it's a place where I can take our grandchildren and they can be introduced into the farming community. But It's not just because of his reach to 30,000 young people a year through an educational farm, but really it's an alignment of values, because the food production, the sustainable food production that he's going to speak about, and food manufacturing in general. Make sure you remember that. Food manufacturing in general, and just the contribution that the Latino community is making to that, and the need for a 4-year comprehensive institution to partner with them in that effort. So I want you to really give my new best friend a big round of applause as he comes to greet us today.
Well, I don't have a prepared speech like everybody else. I'm much more of a farmer than everybody thinks, but I just want to say, like, first off, thank you so much for having me. Usually I'm speaking to a sea of white faces because I'm in the agricultural industry. And within our state, it is 99.9% white owned, which is insane considering Maryland is 50% diverse. So it's kind of insane for me to like kind of give speeches about agriculture. I actually grew up with my father, who was a migrant worker in the fields, and then eventually into the city of Chicago, so I am a city kid. I graduated the Naval Academy in order to get away from farming, because why would I want to go into an industry that was built on the backs of, initially on the backs of black slaves, and now on the backs of Latino migrant workers? Like, why would I want to do that? In 2019, after I started my own business and everything, I got a job to go to Africa and Cameroon with my wife, where we stayed on a community farm. And unlike in the United States, where farming is just strictly like, get off my land, I produce corn, that's all I do, like, I need cheap labor. In Africa, it was totally different. You know, it was the place where they go for community, it's where they go for faith, it's where they go for therapies. Nobody eats alone in Cameroon because of the farm. When I came back to the United States in 2019, I decided to like build that same exact thing that I experienced in Africa and take a little bit of my Latino culture, by little I mean a lot, in terms of like knowing how to grow, and put that onto my farm in Anne Arundel County. That model alone was super tough to deal with because it was so different within the industry, but we really found refuge in our culture, both black and brown, because we speak Spanish on our farm. We also speak French, so we had a lot of African immigrants coming. And we weren't just the white farmer. And what has kind of like evolved is we've kind of become the center hub for kind of like looking at agriculture different. Not really in terms of like, how do I inherit my father's farm, like the typical white like lead into the agriculture industry, but how do I become an entrepreneur and make more money than my neighbor on less acreage, right? Because we don't have inherited generational wealth of land. We have to go find the land. Usually it's crappy and then regenerate it. So like we're kind of looking at agriculture in a totally different context. How do we inspire the next generation of farmers? Like I said, it is 99.9% white. The average age of those farmers is over the age of 70. So in 10 years, we're gonna have a massive retirement of farmers. And we're gonna have a huge food insecurity problem, like Ron was saying, and the only people that could really like lift up the agriculture industry and make sure the rest of the country doesn't starve are those who know what it's like to starve, the immigrants, those underserved communities and cities, those kids who like know what it's like to have to work hard just to get an inch further. So now my farm is the location and headquarters of the Global Alliance of Latinos in Agriculture. So I represent all Latino farmers to the United Nations. But at its heart, it is like really trying to find those key partners that can actually make a difference. Going the traditional avenues of trying to find like funding and support through what has been historically racist and not really serving people like us in terms of agriculture is not the way we want to do it. So coming to Coppin, which is something that nobody probably would think agriculture would ever come to, is huge for us. It's a huge thing to see Coppin having interest in the agriculture industry. And I think one thing I want to say is like, entrepreneurship is tough. Farming is even tougher. But the thing about both of them is like, You have to have the drive, the fire in you to feel like a failure every day, but know that you can do it, right? To have the confidence to do it. And I think our communities are the only ones that can do that, right? We're the only ones that are gonna save the industry and eventually save the economy and the world. So I just wanna say thank you to Coppin. Like, this is our time to no longer be the laborer, we are the owners now. We own the land, so thank you.
Come on, let's give Gerardo a big hand. You know, it's been an amazing day, and again, as you know, time flies when you're having fun. But we're getting ready to transition into the final phase of our program. Before we do that, I just want to, if there are any of our researchers from the Excel Research Project, would you stand? I do believe I saw one or two here. Okay, some of our organizations that are part of the study, if you're here, stand. I think some of our faculty had to leave. And I just wanted to also acknowledge them. Members of the Annie Casey Foundation are here. Stand, please. I see Sarah and Amir. I do want to recognize them. They have been working with us for an entire year and a half to pull this together. But now we're getting ready to transition into the final phase of the program. And pulling together this panel was amazing. And it was evolving up until just a couple of days ago. So I'm going to ask our panelists, our moderator, Dr. Vanya Pettigrew, if she would come, our media mogul from Baltimore, all of our other panel members, if you would make your way to the platform. Brother Bimbo, if you would come on to the platform, because all of them have a story. And I don't want to preempt any of their stories, but I want them to be able to sort of share their own story. Brother Shamar is coming as well, our real estate representative. And what you'll notice is that these are young people who are doing great things. And Brother Bimbo, I've known him since he was 12 or 13 years old. And now he is the funnel cake king of Baltimore City. And you talk about food manufacturing. And he'll tell you his story. I don't want to preempt his story, but he tells it all the time. Before he graduated at 18 years old, he got in a situation and was sentenced to 12 years at 18, just a month or two before he graduated from high school. He did 17 of those years, seven of the 12 years, returned home, and now is a successful business owner. Now, yeah, clap for that. Because when you think about mass incarceration of young people, first offense, no priors, got into a situation and wound up with 12 years, 7 of his years of his life, he was incarcerated, but he returned, and now he's successful. When it comes to the prototype and the model of helping those who, whether it's justly or unjustly, have been incarcerated, and having the responsibility of assisting people to get back on their feet, as he shares his story, you're going to hear some nuggets about how he did what he was able to do and rise to a point where he's really make a contribution to the economy. So I am so happy. I told you I got a chance to tour the Media Moguls headquarters just last week down on Boston Street. Is something to behold. What she's been able to do in terms of an African-American female purchasing property down on Boston Street. I stood in her office and looked out at the water from her office and said, oh my goodness, look where we are. But it's wonderful that they're going to share with us, and I'm glad. Let's give them another big round of applause. They're going to share with you now.
Check one, check two.
All right, see the young people are already in motion helping the media mogul. So good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone feeling? Good, you all look good. I hope you all enjoyed the conference thus far. As Dr. Williamson stated, I am Dr. Kanye Patterfield, the CEO of Group Ranch Media Group, the media mogul. And as he also shared, he had an opportunity to visit with me at our property. I recently purchased the old barcoding building that sits at 2220 Boston Street on Canton's Inner Harbor. I purchased the building for $2.25 million, making me the first African-American woman in the state of Maryland to own an entire block on Baltimore's waterfront. So, thank you. So when I was asked to moderate this panel, considering we're talking about young people and emerging young adults who are wealth building, this was right up my alley, to say the least. So I'm very honored to be here to chat with these incredible folks who, at varying ages, young ages in fact, that are really, really making a difference in our city. So I'm going to give you guys each a chance to also go a little bit further and introduce yourselves. You've heard Dr. Williams give a brief intro of who they are, but we'll just go right down the line.
I can start. My name is Tate Vance. I'm a female artist, a youth entrepreneur. I have two businesses, which is a 360 camera, is a photo booth, and I also hold showcases in the city called BU Town Showcase, and it's just a series of events for artists to come, rap, sing, any talent you have, you come to the BU Showcase, they network, you get opportunities to further their career.
Okay, Tate Vance. Hey everyone, my name is Sydney Johnson. I am a youth advocate, Heart Smiles Heartbeat, and also an entrepreneur myself. I'm the CEO of a creative clothing brand named Upcycle, where I repurpose materials from thrift stores and other places to create wearable art. And I'm so excited to be here and be a part of this panel, as well as just to be a part of this Excel experience with Dr. Williams. So thank you for having me.
Hi everyone, my name is Shamar Bryant. My name is Shamar Bryant. I'm a real estate realtor in the state of Maryland, DC, and PA. I look forward to to this panel, being on this panel. I appreciate you guys for having me as well. I am specialized in commercial and residential real estate, and I also do I am an investor as well in Baltimore City, and I'm looking forward to further research as well.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dwayne Bimbo, aka the Funnel Cake King of Baltimore City. I've been a Funnel Cake King for about 7 years now. We're currently using the Funnel Cake King branding to operate in over 75 schools in Baltimore City. We sell funnel cakes to raise money for our youth all school year. So we tend to do a lot of funnel cakes. We sell funnel cakes during lunch, we sell funnel cakes during dismissal, and we sell funnel cakes at a lot of basketball and football games. And that's what we got going on. I'm also a dad. I have a 6-year-old daughter that was diagnosed with autism. And full-time, I got full physical, legal custody of my daughter. And I spend a lot of time just making sure that I'm being the best dad and the best example. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Talisa Jefferson. I'm with West North Avenue Development Authority. I'm the Economic Development Officer. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you again. Please, seriously, let's give our panelists a warm round of applause. So, as you all have heard, with relation to this conference and this research study around Excel, I actually sit on the advisory board for the project, and so this is something that is very meaningful to all of us that are involved, and we really believe strongly in the impact that it can and will have on our city. A study was done maybe a year or so ago, and out of that initial research study, it came out that what our young people really crave when they, thought about how they can become independently wealthy or actually take control of their life and really do something beyond getting a job. the topic of entrepreneurship really rose to the occasion. Young people understood that by owning your own, by starting your own, you're not only doing it for yourself, but the long-term effects of what that can mean for creating legacy. And so that's what this is really all about. So we're really excited about the upcoming release of the research that came out of the study. And some of the young people on the panel actually had part in being a part of the data collection and analyzing the data. And so, again, we're going to dive a little bit deeper now. So, I want to hear a little bit more about your journey to entrepreneurship. So, I'm going to start with my young people first. How did you become an entrepreneur? I know that you are also Heartbeats, right? So, for those who in the room, I don't know how you can be in Baltimore and don't know what a heartbeat is, but we're going to let y'all know what it means to be from Heart Smiles and to be a heartbeat and your involvement in the Excel project, all right?
Okay, so so I'm a heartbeat and Heart Smiles, which is help me in my leadership and my entrepreneurship skills, build me as a person and an entrepreneur. And what was the other question?
Your involvement with the Excel project.
Yeah, so I was on a research project along with Sydney and the other heartbeats where we was just anonymously looking at other businesses and comparing them to each other, contrasting, looking at the hardships that everyone's going through, the challenges, the benefits, and really just taking a deep dive into everyone's program and analyzing.
Thank you for that.
Well, T-Bands pretty much explained what we did in Excel, but it was definitely extremely fun and also challenging, just looking at data and seeing things that a lot of programs go through and things they're missing that we feel like it's time to start providing for. So that was our part in Excel, to just look through the data, to transcribe it, do a little bit of coding and some research ourselves, as well as sharing our personal experience with entrepreneurship as well. And you said our personal experience with entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Oh, so like a lot of other youth entrepreneurs, my entrepreneurial endeavors started back when I was in elementary school, when I was selling snacks in school in the cafeteria, which without permission, and got in trouble for it by the principal. And then we began having a conversation about what entrepreneurship is and the steps it takes to be able to actually do that on Baltimore City schools campus and stuff like that. But from there, I've always known that, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. And then I was introduced to Heart Smiles back when I was in 9th grade. And from then on, it's just been entrepreneurship. I've taken courses, I've taught courses on entrepreneurship. And now that's just what I love to do and what I want to be.
Awesome. So I understand being in Heart Smiles and being a heartbeat, it's actually common practice for you to be involved, engaged in larger, bigger picture conversations. But I wanted to just get your insight on how does it make you feel to be a part of a research case study like this and being able to be the voice of your community, of your peer group, weighing in on such important research being done?
Great. It feels great and different. Being the youngest, always the youngest in the room. People don't really take teenagers serious, so the heartbeats, Heart Smiles, every entrepreneur that represents Heart Smiles are serious about what they do, passionate about what they do, their craft, and we really out here doing it and representing for the youth, because a lot of people don't really think that youth can be somebody or youth can do something, so we really just paving that way for all the youth in our city to have these opportunities that we have. We really just bridging the gap.
Yeah, to add on to what Tay-Ban said, it's nothing like being a youth in a room, in a group full of adults, and being able to have a say. And as Ms. Joni liked to say, conversations about youth can't be made, without the youth being there. So just her giving us the opportunity to be there and have a say in the things that goes on was definitely a huge part. And she didn't even mention that we was just in Hawaii a week or two ago speaking at a conference about abuse and trauma and how to basically provide better resources for cities like Baltimore and the youth in Baltimore. So just being there, and we were definitely the youngest there in the Hawaii conference. And it was just such a great experience to be able to bring back and represent our community, and just show them exactly who we are and what we do. So
and also learn from the other people that we see present.
I just want to say, because because, you know, I'm the media mogul, so I had my ears to the street, and these young people killed it in Hawaii. Like, folks were literally in the airport talking about these young people that were at this conference. And so we just want to thank you for representing Baltimore, representing yourselves, representing Heart Smile so strongly in other places, because the word got back. Well, I even met y'all today. So, to my next two, tell me a little bit about your journey as well into entrepreneurship.
Okay, so it actually started when I was young. You know, I was a small entrepreneur. I did, like the same way, I sold snacks in my school. I did sell snacks in my school, and I also started with a clothing brand as well. Now, you know, over time as an entrepreneur, you do learn that, you know, certain things may not work out in business. You may, you know, also think that some things aren't for you as well. You know, moving forward in college, I went to Morgan State University, and then over time I did have a mentor who appointed me to real estate, and, you know, he got me interested in it. So far I've been in real estate for about 5 years now. I've been a realtor for about 3. I've been in real estate for 5, started out wholesaling, and then, you know, moved forward to get my license, and now I am licensed in Maryland, DC, and PA, and moving on to Florida as well. So, you know, for the most part, I would say that being an entrepreneur and being young at it, you know, it's tough, but at the same time, you move forward as you go, and you make failures. You have failures, and then you learn from your mistakes. That's all it is.
Yes, and talking about learning from your mistakes, can you please share with us a little bit more about your journey into entrepreneurship?
Okay, so my journey into entrepreneurship was very interesting. So I sold my first product at age 6. I'm 36 now. So I saw a yard sale, and at age 6, and I was like, I could do this with my toys, and I've been selling products since I turned 6. So, well, for my 6th grade, when I turned 6, for my birthday, I sold my toys. And the experience has just been a very learning experience. I've been selling stuff my whole life. As they spoke about in school, like I sold CDs and DVDs, and then I got a laptop and I began to start selling ringtones. If anybody remember Nextels, I was the guy that you was gonna come and see during lunch. I just been selling products my whole life, and from there I got a little greedy. I got greedy and I got lazy, because what I realized is that I could sell my product, or I could take someone else's money from them, and I could still pay my expenses. So what I began to start doing once I got to high school, I was still selling all my products, selling candy, selling just different stuff in school. But what I started to do is I started to rob people. So Pastor Williams, he will forever be Pastor Williams to me. I met him when I was age 12, and he's been influencing me since. And what I decided to do was I just started to rob people. When I was in high school, I started to rob people. It caught up with me. I was sentenced to 12 years. I served 7 years. And throughout that journey of serving these 7 years, I educated myself. So I learned how to write a business plan in prison. I learned how I educated myself through prison. I went to fiber optics. I did computer repair. I wrote several books when I was incarcerated, because my biggest fear was coming home and having to go back to the streets. So what I did was I educated myself just across the board, so when I come home, I'll be able to reach back to the youth and steer them away from going to prison. So that's pretty much that's who I am, that's what I represent. And I got stories for days, but I just kind of wanted to talk to y'all directly about my experiences. And here I am now, and I've been released from prison May 17th, for May 13 years since I've been released from prison. And I only go back to help. I only go back to do workshops. I only go back to visit individuals and encourage individuals, for when they get out, they'll be able to follow my footprint, my blueprint of what I've done. So now I just use my influence to just help teach entrepreneurship. So I only hire the youth. So that's just what my commitment is. This summer, I'll be participating in Youth Works for the 3rd year. I have 10 students that are gonna be coming. Last summer, I taught the kids how to build food carts from scratch. I have photos of that right beside me. And this summer, we bought a property, and they're gonna be hanging the drywall, they're gonna be doing the electric, they're gonna be installing the toilet, they're gonna be building out a whole bathroom. So that's just where I'm at. And I'm just speaking on this because I know once this is over, if anything that I'm saying, if anybody wanna talk, I would love to meet with y'all, and that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathan, for your transparency. And he really is out there in the community and on funnel cake slap. So, all right, let's talk to you, Salisa from WNADA, which is the West North Avenue Development Authority. Tell us a little bit about your role and being a young adult in this position.
Sure. So I am the Economic Development Officer for WNADA. WNADA has a mission to develop us from the 600 block to the 3200 block of West North Avenue. So my role is to engage business owners, entrepreneurs who are looking for space on North Avenue, right? Space. So that's my role, that's what we're doing. And we also have 3 other pillars: housing, transportation, and green space, environmental health. So we're using all 4 pillars together to improve, uplift the community, and give everyone a chance in the space of West North Avenue.
Thank you so much for that. All right, so let's dive a little bit more into owning and operating your own business in Baltimore. What are some of the advantages? You've experienced?
I can say my main advantage would just be the youngest in the room, because I can learn so much from everyone that already had these experiences. So I don't have to really go through every mistake, because I'm learning from everyone that already been through a mistake.
The fact that you even know that is amazing, because so many young people feel like they gotta learn it for themselves. And so to be young and a sponge and really, learning from others, thank you for that.
I would say one of the advantages of owning a business in Baltimore is that Baltimore is so small and tightly knit that everybody knows everybody. So your business will get around a lot faster just by telling one person. And that's just been my experience, especially for one of my mentors is actually in here. He introduced me to the Entrepreneurship Club in Morgan State before I was even enrolled in Morgan State. So as soon as I came in at Morgan, they had me with open arms, and now I'm involved with them, and now I'm meeting more people. So just the word of mouth and just the support that other Baltimoreans give business owners.
Okay, well let's take a look at that from the flip side. So what are some of the challenges you face as an entrepreneur in this environment? Any others?
Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit about some of the challenges I face as an entrepreneur. So like I said, I didn't mention that I did purchase my first investment property, and I can say, some of the challenges dealing with that. I purchased it out all cash. I didn't take the route of hard money loan or anything else. I did purchase it out all cash, but at the same time, I did realize that, if you don't have the back end, fix it up and everything else, sometimes it doesn't work out. I do learn from my mistakes, and I'm figuring out a way to get and move forward. One of the challenges I can say is that the city, some people try to come at certain properties and everything else, but you still have to back up on it, back yourself up. Another challenge I could say, being a realtor in the state of Maryland, there are over probably 10,000, well, probably way more than that, maybe 20,000 agents in the state of Maryland. And it's, sometimes it's a competitive market that you have to work with and maneuver around, and being able to make connections and coming outside to talk to people like this as well. So I can just say that, one of those things is just being able to come out and be open to other people and have connections.
Sure. Any challenges? What are some of the challenges you face?
I would say the biggest challenge that I face the same as that challenge that everybody in this room is faced with.
I think the biggest challenge that we are faced with is just the gatekeepers. I believe it's a lot of gatekeepers inside of Baltimore. I believe that we really can't get past the East Baltimore, West Baltimore thing, and that's really kind of stagnating a lot of growth on the business of being able to kind of show the youth something else. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. And as far as, I mean, I've been a hustler all my life, so I know how to go out and make it happen. But I feel like I really feel like the gatekeepers can kind of get a little intimidated by individuals that don't do a traditional way. Like he spoke about, like the hard money lending way is like, if you got the hustle in you, then you can buy it yourself. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that's kind of plaguing it is that's rather difficult to get by, because yeah, that's everything. You know, I just feel like things can get very political really fast, and we're an alumni-based town, so it's like if you went to the castle or if you went to the other school, you know, I didn't attend either, but it's just certain things like that stagnates us just as a whole in general, and that's it.
Can I share too, from an economics perspective?
Why, yes, because that was my very next question.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So from the Wanata lens, can you share with us both the benefits and some of the challenges? Yeah.
Sure. So from the economic perspective, Baltimore is actually accessible to New York, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, right? We all can hop on a train to get there. So in 2018, Forbes actually ranked Baltimore 5th in the top 10 rising cities for startups. So this is the place to be, right? The positive of it. In addition to that, Forbes also, recently last month, Forbes also ranked Baltimore 22nd out of 25, of the top 25 least risky cities for small businesses. So for access to capital, least risky, that's great, right? But on the flip side too, because we're so accessible to other places like New York, and New York is where most venture capital dollars go to, 1/3 actually. We're losing folks because they are moving to New York to have access to capital. So that's some of the pros and cons from like the economic standpoint.
Thank you for sharing that. Let's get into a little bit about the community. You guys are all engaged in the community, right? I want to hear from you, each of you, in your own ways, in addition to the work that you do as an entrepreneur, but what's your impact in the community?
My impact is just to be able to influence, motivate, and inspire youth that have talent and passion to always chase their dreams. Like, I want them to look at me and say, okay, Tay Vance can do it, so can I. Whether that's starting your own business, working for someone else, being a rapper, you want to go to school, you want to go to college. If Tay Vance can do that, so can I. So every time I wake up, that's what I want. That's my mission, to inspire the youth and the next generation behind me. That's why I'm so heavily involved in Heart Smiles. That's all we're about, youth.
Hey Vance, do you have the youth showcase as well? Yes. Can you tell us about that?
So it's a series of events every other month at our house, and I pay the artists to perform. So usually when artists, when they don't really have a big name, they get on the stage, you gotta pay for that. So I don't want that to happen anymore. So I pay the artists to perform. All you gotta do is promote, show up, and network with people. So they're getting paid, they got opportunities, and they're showcasing their talents. So that's like, if you perform at Hardscape, that's a little higher, but right now you're practicing, so by the time you get to Hardscape, you're good, because you've been coming to the showcases, perfecting your craft, meeting entrepreneurs, and being around other like-minded individuals. And it's a safe space, you know, everyone think the youth is associated with the gun violence and the crimes and all of that. We don't have none of that. So you know when you come to a showcase, you're going to be safe, and you're going to eat good, you're going to be around people. So we just limited all the limitations around the youth in our city.
That's because you was dropping bars. Okay, Tay-Ban, seriously, as a mogul, that's a mogul move. When you're able to put your own cash up to create an opportunity for somebody else to have platform, boss. Love it. Appreciate it.
I would say my impact is to just embrace and like promote authenticity within our community of youth, because I know that in this time, this generation, there's a lot of youth that feels like they need to be more like what they see and, you know, to follow a certain crowd. But the actual meaning behind my brand is that no matter where you come from, you ultimately get to choose what pieces you want to tell your story. And Upcycled is about embracing your authenticity and your individualism. And I feel like anybody that wears my pieces embodies that I'm cut from a different cloth and I'm set apart from the people that are around me.
Thank you, and your art is extremely beautiful. I've seen you at an exhibition before, so
thank you.
Really, really dope work. I want to hear from you about your engagement in the community.
So my engagement community, I actually work with a lot of developers in Baltimore City who specialize in affordable homes. Usually, you know, I work with, you know, a few companies like Live Baltimore. Some of y'all may have heard of it. You know, they specialize in helping people with their credit, with people who don't know how to start on the home process, or with people who, you know, don't know where, you know, maybe to begin on the home process. You know, I usually just, you know, kind of specialize in helping people with that for the most part, and just being able to make that impact in the community, because some people who may not be able to afford a home over, you know, $150,000 or maybe even less, you know, it's just something that I can do that will be able to give a helping hand out to somebody else.
I love that, helping folks get in the posture of success. Thank you.
Yes, I would personally say, as I spoke about, I have these different photos right here. So what I personally do is and you may be able to zoom in a little, but what I pretty much been personally doing is I've pretty much kind of created a managing partnership ran by the youth. So in 2022, and since 2022, I've been pretty much just having funnel cake stands throughout the city, all ran by the youth. So I've been providing them with an opportunity to not just receive the money, make the product, and just the whole experience. So that's what I personally been doing, and what I realized by me having the influence that I have inside of the schools is that everybody tend to want to be a part of our summer camp. Everybody pretty much kind of wants to be a part of our youth work program. So what I've been doing is been teaching the kids from how to build a whole entire food cart from scratch, from the plumbing to the electric to the gas line, just in general. Cornell, can you stand for 1 second, Cornell? Cornell, this gentleman is age 24. He's been working with us for about 12 months now. And if you turn around, show your outfit off, Cornell. You see the hat that he has on has the Funnel Cake King logo. His shirt has it, his coat has it. And all this was created in-house by the youth. So we create all our merchandise inside. So we don't.
I love that.
So we don't just teach them how to make a funnel cake. We teach them. It's bigger than business plans. With us, we believe that you got to be as hands-on as possible. So when the food cart break down, if they leaking gas or water or something, they can repair it versus having to wait on someone. So I just try to teach the youth to just be as independent as possible. That's all.
Thank you. Can you repeat the question? Your impact in the community.
With youth. So a lot of what I do is through partnerships. I partner with Rashid from the citywide youth development, So, and I also partner with other CDCs in the community that's with the mission of increasing entrepreneurial literacy, including this program here. This is great. And then you can also catch me walking the corridor. So I walk the corridor a lot, speaking with folks just about business opportunities out there. I have a partnership with YouthWorks and Mayor's Office of Employment Development. We also realized that a lot of youth They want to be entrepreneurs, so I go and share words and how we can do so, and point them to resources, other resources that's there that they may not even be aware of, such as having a business plan. Business plans are important, and a lot of folks don't understand the importance of a business plan or how to even create one. So I point them in the direction of receiving those services as I'm walking the community and talking to folks, talking to youth, just getting to know them so they can also get to know Winata as well.
Sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to say one more thing that I didn't say. So if anybody is in here familiar with Shake and Bake, the skating ring and bowling alley, so we run the concessions inside of Shake and Bake on Wednesday. So Cornell runs the whole entire concession, and he's 23 and he has a 15-year-old under him, and he has a 17-year-old that runs the bowling alley. So so I just wanted to just say that if anybody ever want to come out on Wednesdays, Dollar Wednesdays, 6 to 9, costs $1 to get in. Y'all can come and purchase a funnel cake. Y'all can see Cornell and all the youth. All youth run all the concessions at Shake and Bake. So I just wanted to say that.
That is awesome, yes. All right, so I'm gonna toss this to one or two you can answer, because we do have some young people still in the audience hanging with us today. So what advice would you have for the youth that are in the audience who want to become an entrepreneur?
My advice would be, no dream is too big or too small. Like, if you have a dream and you're passionate about it, do it, go all in. And if you don't have support, you just have to find people out here that can help you, because it is people that can help you. So if you have a dream, chase it, and just believe in yourself.
Just want to pick back off that. I would say that, the most important thing is being consistent. If you don't have consistency, it won't work. Usually, I can say that, within my years of being a realtor, the most thing that I did was be consistent. And consistency has brought me a long way. And, hopefully even further, honestly. But yeah, just consistency is key.
I would like to add to that. My advice would be to not wait until everything is perfect to start. I understand that some of us are perfectionists, but if you wait for things to be perfect, you'll never get started, because nothing can ever be 100% perfect. Start where you're at and work your way up. Don't think you need to have a website. Don't think you need to have an LLC at this moment. Don't think you have to have all your things together to just start putting yourself out there and just showing your talents and putting your dreams to work.
Thank you for that. All right, I want to get not that we weren't serious before, but I want to get a little serious. I want us to talk a bit about violence in our city, right? We are seeing some progress, right? There seems to be a decline in violence in our city and youth crime. But I want to get your perspective on the impact you believe youth entrepreneurship, you believe it has a play in it, you believe it is a part of the solution to combating crime and violence in our city.
Yes, I think so, because if you have something that you love, your passion, and you working on it 24/7, you meeting the people, you researching, you learning, you're not in the streets. If you working at Shake and Bake, you at Shake and Bake working, you're not in the streets. You making funnel cake, you're not in the streets. So everything that we doing, you got a showcase. You rapping on a stage, you're not in the streets. So you always taking a part, and you just doing what you had to do to not be in the streets. And also, like, if you have these opportunities, you can also tell your friend, tell your cousin. So now, none of y'all in the streets.
Am I asking you a question? Let me walk down this road. Okay. We're talking about violence and crime in our city. What impact do you believe entrepreneurship has in combating that? Do you think it plays a part?
Yes, I definitely think that, if you sit back and you really kind of look at why people are committing violence, it's always kind of structured around something. It's like somebody owes somebody some money, or it's something that has something to do with monetary based. I definitely think that in entrepreneurship is really, really important. I think that the one thing that is not transpiring is once you get to high school, it's pretty much, it's kind of like trade school or college is the options, or workforce. And I don't believe that it's not enough options fresh out of high school for entrepreneurship. So I think so it's like when a youth coming fresh out of high school and they want to be independent, the only way that they can learn entrepreneurship is through the streets. That's the reason why we dealing with what we dealing with, I believe. So I just wanted to say thank y'all for just having this and creating this. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Were there any other comments on this? All right, so entrepreneurship, guys, it's hard. I know. I have like 6 businesses, and it wears me out sometimes. But we are here because these folks up here with me are doing it. And that's worth celebrating, right? Like, I'm gonna try to clap it up one more time because it's hard, and they are doing it, and they are doing it well. They're not only making a difference in their lives and their family lives, but you've heard them talk about how they are making impact in their communities. So at this time, I want y'all to share some of your wins. Share with us a success story so far in your journey.
So I just started the showcase about a year ago, so like last year. And by the time I had my 3rd showcase, I had Mayor Brandon Scott there. So for me, that was really good because he's not coming to everybody's showcase. So they grabbed his attention and he showed his support to the youth, and everybody in the room was inspired by the words that he had to say and just his presence. So that was a big accomplishment for me.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
I would say my big accomplishment thus far probably has been being able to spread my brand throughout Morgan State's campus. I began the idea of a dorm fashion show that actually went viral on TikTok unexpectedly, where I just created the idea on a snowy day for everybody in my dorm to get together and wear their best or worst outfits for fun. And I did that, and I woke up the next morning and had over 350K views and over 170K comments and reposts and shares, and people texting me saying they see my TikTok, and other colleges saying, oh, I'm gonna tell my RA I wanna do this, and just seeing it actually have some kind of impact and bring that culture and, you know, fun back to the HBCU life. I think that has probably been one of my biggest accomplishments so far.
That is so cool.
I would say one of my biggest accomplishments so far, because I've been in the real estate game for about 3 years now, I'm pretty young in it, but first year I didn't do much in sales. I probably did maybe like 1 sale. But now that I am currently the vice president of the company, I have done over $2 million in sales, and I want to say that, you know, that's a real big achievement for myself.
Come on, $2 million in sales, what?
Another thing as well, I did purchase my first investment property all on my own, you know, so, you know, I want to say that's, you know, 100% a big accomplishment as well.
Major, congratulations.
I would say, I would just speak on maybe three main things. So the one thing that I would say is I ran for election in 2018, and I lost by 200 votes in the 45th district, and I moved back West Baltimore in the 40th district, the district that we are currently in right now, and I won this election by 1,500 votes, and I'm now officially State Central Committee, 40th district. This is my district.
Hey, that's big, let's go, yes.
I represent us on the legislation side, on the state side, so I work with a lot of senators and delegates in Annapolis to just help change the transition, just in general. So I would say that that's one thing. Another thing is I just created a very strategic partnership with the NFL, Play 60 flag football. I have a partnership with the NFL, and I run all the concessions for all the flag football programs in Baltimore City.
That's amazing.
And I would say that the third thing would be just being able to use my influence when I walk in these halls, and I think the influence is accomplishment with itself, because Because what I realized is that when you work inside of Baltimore City Public Schools, when they transition to the streets, they show that respect when I pull up, and that's an amazing accomplishment. That when I go in these stores and they outside selling whatever they sell, that they get out of the way and they roll the red carpet out for me whenever I'm in the community. So I think that our youth, the respect that I receive from the youth on a daily is amazing. That's bigger than any other accomplishment that I have had in general.
Thank you.
My biggest accomplishment is accepting this role as the Economic Development Officer for West North Avenue Development Authority. I'm in an all-white male industry, and I am quite young myself, so I'm learning as well. And I'm really super excited about seeing the transformation that's going to take place and being a part of this. So when my parents moved from North Carolina and Michigan, they moved to West North Avenue, Baker Street, on Baker, and it means a lot to show this improvement to my mother and be a part of making that change, and also encouraging others to live their dreams, be an entrepreneur if you say you want to be an entrepreneur, and encouraging and assisting them and walking them through the process of doing so. And with that, walking them through the process of having their own brick and mortar too on West North Avenue. So that's one of my biggest accomplishments, accepting this role.
That is amazing, and I'm really proud of you. That's incredible. So we're coming down to the last question here. I would like my panelists to share a final word, a final sentence, just about their work and that lasting impression you would like to leave with us.
I think you started at the end.
They tossed it back to you.
What's the question again?
What's your final word?
Right. Somebody said this earlier, but block the haters, keep going. Don't let that negatively influence you. Have a circle of positivity, meditate. Those are too many words, I'm passing it off.
I would just say just start. Just really get started. Just get started in whatever it is that you want to start, because before you know it, you'll have been sitting on the sideline for 5 years, and then once you start, you're going to be mad at yourself for not starting earlier. So just really get started.
I want to say, try to surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people who are successful, people who are millionaires, because eventually it will brush off.
Mine is procrastination. The result of procrastination is the life that you wish you would have had.
And mine is being open to learn more, because you don't know anything. I mean, you don't know everything, so just be open to learn more and meet new people and build new relationships.
Thank you for those final words. Thank you for this discussion. We have a little bit of time for me to open it up with some questions from the audience. I saw y'all write notes feverishly. So, who's gonna kick us off with a question for the panel? Y'all need me to repeat the question? Hey, we got hands in the back.
Want me to yell?
Yeah.
All right. So, as young entrepreneurs, if there was a particular type of grant funding opportunity, how would you like it to be structured for your generation?
Grants and how would it be structured? What type of grants y'all looking for?
So I'm currently looking for grants to be able to have showcases consistently, because I am making an impact in my community. And that is a struggle and a hardship that I'm going through right now, being able to assess those grants. And right now, I don't have an LLC, even though I've been doing business for over a year, but I'm in a process of learning the difference between the businesses, and I am getting an LLC in the process. We can just have an easier way of being able to secure those funds, that would help.
Yeah, and I was going to say the same thing. On the real estate side, I feel like once you put your hard work in, you've been put all your blood, sweat, and tears, and you now own a property, I think being able to get access to funding for rehab, that's definitely a need. Rehab. Because obviously you can go to the bank and you can refinance it, but I think being able to just get access to rehab would definitely help with a lot once you have ownership.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what he said as well, being able to have that access as a youth entrepreneur, having that access to grant funding would be helpful. There are a lot of grants in the city that people do apply for, but a lot of them don't happen right away, or they happen years from now or over time, and it's just being able to guide a youth person in order to help them, or on the real estate side, I can say for myself, on the real estate side, being able to help them, probably purchase a property, rent a property, anything that, maybe involve real estate, being able to help them, get that grant money would be, 100% helpful.
And from my observation as well, agree, is access to capital, and specifically access to pay your employees. A lot of businesses that I'm meeting, or owners I'm meeting, they have a business, but the business is still in, startup, very small, so they don't really have that access to capital to support the expansion or just paying off their employees so they can continue to come back and serve. So that is something maybe we can talk about.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thank you for posing that question, because access to capital is a challenge no matter what stage you are at, oftentimes for entities led by people of color. So diving deeper into exploring what some of those barriers are that we tend to face, and possibly your approach, possibly some sort of drip dissemination where you get something immediately, because there's oftentimes an immediate need, and then the longer term can be rolled out based on performance. So I didn't ask me, but since we talking, just saying. Okay.
Can I just piggyback on what she said? She was speaking about just being able to get assistance for your employees. They have a program that they are about to unveil on May 8th. The city of Baltimore. It's no commercials. It's nothing. The name of the program is called Hire Up. If you Google Hire Up Baltimore, it'll tell you about this program. It's unveiling on May 8th, and then they're going to be providing individuals with staff as early as May 15th. It's called Hire Up Baltimore, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to be, you provide them with the job description of what you need, and they're going to pay your staff for 6 months. And what your responsibilities is that you have to provide this staff with 35 hours minimum per week to qualify. But it's called Hire Up Baltimore. It's no commercials, it's no nothing. It's a if you know type of thing. I'm gonna be a part, so it's called Hire Up Baltimore. No commercials. So I just wanted to tell you. Yes, no commercials, I promise you.
Any other questions? Oh, we have a hand in the front.
What advice would you, advice/information would you give yourself before you became an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur just starting out?
So they can hear you, so they can hear you.
What advice/information would you give yourself before you became an entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur just starting out?
So looking back at yourself when you started, what advice would you give yourself starting out?
I would honestly say just be mindful of how you spend your time. Be mindful of how you spend your time. I think that entertainment and startup don't go together. So I feel like you can't be trying to start up and run a successful business and entertain on the weekends as well. I think it's a matter of just sacrificing. You gotta sacrifice it. And that's what it all boils down to. When I say entertainment, I mean basketball. I'm talking about watching basketball games on TV. I'm talking about watching football games. I'm talking about just in general. I'm talking about going out. You gotta be able to just separate and sacrifice at the beginning. Or, that's what I would say, honestly.
I could say on my end, what I would tell my younger self is to listen to your parents. 100% listen to your parents. There's a lot of mistakes that I made that I could have avoided. That my mom, told me about for the most part. And if you don't have, if your parents, you can't talk to your parents, talk to a mentor, somebody that's able to teach you and somebody that's able to guide you, be able to give you that step forward because, evidently they were the first person that did this first. And, you're right behind them. So I would say, listen to your parents.
I think mine is kind of opposite to yours in a sense. Yeah, so mine would be to not let people who aren't as educated into what you want to do tell you how to do it pretty much. Like I know when I was getting into like the entrepreneurial aspect of things, my parents was not really aware of like exactly what an entrepreneur is and what that looks like and why I wanted to be one. They're just like, no, you're going to go to college, you're going to get a job, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, that's that. So when I said I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to work for myself, it was like, why do that? So I had to turn to other aspects of knowledge. I had to read books. My first book I ever read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that totally transformed my mind of how to spend money and my mindset towards financial literacy. So I had to turn to other sources of knowledge to begin educating myself on how to become an entrepreneur, and I still am to this day.
One of mine probably would be keep going. Just keep going, because if you give up, you don't know what could have happened. So just keep going, no matter how many L's you take, keep going.
So for me, I started actually as a community development fellow at University of Baltimore, where I was pursuing my graduate degree. And I was placed at different locations. I was placed at the Arch Social, on North Avenue, GBUL, with another business owner, and then my last stop was Baltimore Main Street. During that time, I probably told my younger self, that time, to get serious. This is it. It feels home. It feels good. It's something that I'm pretty passionate about. And I would have told myself to get serious, and if I would have known about this industry when I was way younger, I would have saved a lot of dollars. So get serious.
Thank you for that question and great response to the panelists. Any other questions from the audience? Audience, I thank you for your participation. There's a hand. All right.
Thank you. Hey, I'm curious for great panel. Really appreciate everything people shared. For especially people in Heart Smiles, I know that there are some other organizations here that run youth programs and kind of build community over the long term. Can you talk about what your experiences have been like as you've kind of grown in the programs and year after year, how it's continued to challenge you and not just be kind of the same thing each year, but kind of you've been able to grow as a leader within it?
That's a really good question, actually. I would definitely say when I started off with Heart Smiles, I had no idea what I wanted to do or who I wanted to be. I just knew that I wanted to be involved in Heart Smiles. So my very first Heart Smiles project was a volunteer opportunity. We was delivering 40,000 pounds of chickens to people who needed it. And so I just took pride in doing that, and so that's what I did. But ever since then, in showing my consistency and showing my seriousness about being growing as a person, my leadership opportunities began to evolve and go up higher and higher. So it went from just being on a food insecurity project and having to make sure I reach a certain amount of people to get access to food, to being in an entrepreneurship class, to the next year teaching an entrepreneurship class, to being a mentor, then to being a mentee, then being a mentor. My role is constantly challenged as a youth in Heart Smiles, and I'm always grateful for it because I always believe that there's always room to learn and that no one has ever finished learning. So yeah, I'm always growing.
I can 100% say Heart Smiles definitely changed my life. I don't know where I would be at if I didn't know about Heart Smiles or found Ms. Joni. Just to have somebody to always push it back and push you on a whole nother level that you wouldn't be able to think that you could do, it really helped us. I've been teaching and facilitating leadership and entrepreneurship classes through Baltimore City schools all across the city, and that has maybe be able to have a greater impact on our youth, because now I'm touching so many other youth in our city.
Also, I want to add, it definitely boosts your confidence where you know you've been in rooms that like other youth in the city haven't been in, and that your names are in rooms that you haven't even been in. So just being able to have certain opportunities and like being able to say, I was just in Hawaii 2 weeks ago.
That's 20 in Hawaii.
I'm 19 years old. I was just in Hawaii, and I got to like take that experience with me back home and share with my friends and family. Like things like that is definitely just huge to me.
Fantastic, and shout out to Jody Housefield in the audience. Hi. All right, any other questions before I wrap us up? Okay, fantastic. You all have been wonderful. I hope that you found today's discussion valuable. I thank our participants for your thoughtfulness and your transparency today and pouring back into our community, and not only the work that you do every day, but being here on this platform and being a part of this specific project. Thank you. All right, that concludes our session. Thank you very much.
Let's give our panel another big round of applause. This is my takeaway. This end is the senior end of the panel, and he said he bought his first, got involved, he's been involved in real estate 5 years. Shamar, how old are you?
24.
24 years old. Sydney, how old are you?
19.
19. Just turned 19 this month. Tay, how old are you? 20 years old. So the moral of that story is they aren't afraid. They've started early. She said, we were just in Hawaii 2 weeks ago, in Honolulu, having that type of experience, but also showing up in the room. I was there. They were not intimidated. They were confident. They engaged people. So it's not ever too young, and I think if we make the space for them, we'll get much more from them than we are. Did I say that right? We'll get much more from them than we are giving to them. We'll get much more just because of how they're showing up. So let's give them, and thank you, Vanya. Let's give Vanya another big round of applause. Thank you for being a part of EICAC 2024. It was a big leap, and I want to thank the College of Business, I want to thank the university, I want to thank Dr. Jenkins. When you have the president show up twice in one day, you are somebody. So that's how much he cares about youth and advancing youth and the place that the part that we play here in West North Avenue. Another shout out to WNADA, West North Avenue Development Authority, and their participation in this whole endeavor. And I want Shamar's mom to make herself known. Professor Sharita Santiago, stand and just let everybody know this is Shamar's mom. So she did something right. Yes, she did. But thank you, have a wonderful day. Stay plugged into the College of Business, our certificate program, our opportunity, the new building on the corner of North Avenue and Warwick. Come by and see us, get a tour. Thank you, Dean Gregory, for all of your help and support. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, last thing as well.